This is the story we were originally going to lead with. This is from conventionofstates.com. Large majority of independents, Republicans, believe Trump's political enemies are behind the FBI raid and are now more likely to vote in 2022 midterms. This is from Trafalgar Group in the Convention of States. They say 83% of Republicans, 72% of independents now more likely to vote. I mean, that's really good news if you want Republicans to win.
It's the best get out the vote effort the government's ever had.
Right.
But right. And so there's a few points to be made. The first thing I want to say is there's no guarantee Republicans winning does anything for anybody. Mm-hmm. Granted, seeing more like America First style politicians who are just like more like Ron Paul, like just no, we're rescind government authority and things like that, I can accept as it's better, in my opinion, that many of these candidates win than the Democrats retain control and steamroll through things. But I have to wonder, was the if there's no political motivation in what the FBI is doing, then they don't care that this is riling up independent voters and Republican voters. Unless there is political motivation, which I think most people believe there is. So my assumption now is October surprise, that in about 2.5 months, these raids and subpoenas, the reason they're doing it now is so they can have the filings done, they can have the judges' signatures, and then come the end of October, it's bam, criminal indictment, accusation. The entirety of the corporate press will be dominated with Republican arrested, so they don't lose the midterms. How else do they expect, with massive inflation, with horrible gas prices? I know they've come down quite a bit, bravo, but they're still really high. The misery index is so high, and the historical trends, Democrats should get wiped out in the midterms. Unless they can pull some insane October surprise and make a bunch of arrests. Maybe not, but that's kind of what it feels like to me here, huh?
I feel like I'd go one step further to say the ultimate goal to what you were talking about before was they want to try and prevent Trump from running again. Right. And if they destroy the credibility of anyone who is kind of positioned as an ally to him, as someone who has supported him, not just like he's a bad guy, we don't like it, but he's literally on trial, he's in jail. They're hoping to win enough support to make it seem like it's an absolute non-starter. We cannot elect Donald Trump. I don't think they have a better candidate. I don't think Joe Biden will be able to run again. So really what they're trying to do is knock the Republicans' most likely chess piece off the table to try and get ahead of whatever's going to happen next, because they are in a weak position themselves.
Larry Elder said it has to be Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
really, why?
Because Democrats are dependent upon the black vote, and that if they abandon Kamala Harris for someone else, it's going to be deeply hurtful to the black community.
She's not competent.
But that's Larry
Elder's
opinion.
She's deeply unpopular.
I don't know if I necessarily agree, but far be it for me to claim to know better than Larry Elder.
I thought Cortez, I mean, it's almost like, is she actually going to run for president? That'd be cool.
I hope
At
she
least
does.
that'd be someone to listen.
That
I think
debate.
she listens
We talked
to
about it
people.
before, a Trump AOC debate.
Yes.
So great.
Great.
So I got a couple angry emails from people. They're like, "How dare you say you would like to see AOC run for president?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think it'd be hilarious.
I mean,
it'd be fantastic."
That's way better than what the Democratic Governors Association is doing to their voters, right? They're pouring money into races to get the quote unquote most extreme candidate elected so they can theoretically beat them in the midterm.
But think about that. The Democrats have been funding, we know this, the MAGA candidates, the Trump supporting candidates, or they've been funding their messages.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So
This is weird.
It was
Why?
The idea is that Trump candidates cannot win in a general election.
Wow.
So when you put them
they're
in,
driving everything to the extremes.
there was, I mean,
but my point here is real quick. Consider that. Now consider what the FBI is doing. Seems to make a bit more sense. They fund a bunch of these ultra MAGA candidates. Then the FBI starts going after Trump and his inner circle to taint the well and poison these candidates. So when they make a criminal indictment of someone in the Trump circle or Trump himself, they can say the criminal man himself endorsed this candidate. Don't vote for him.
Right. Oh my God. Ugh. So ugly. I mean, there's also the possibility that if they funded MAGA candidates, which is like smarter than I am used to Democrats being, but they also would know if there's any dirty linen because they have to do opposition research,
right.
you know, and
they save it for October.
And they save it for October for sure. But I think it could be even worse. I think that there's an element of trying to provoke Republicans, especially Trump supporters. I think there are going to be very shocking images we're going to see, you know, and God forbid, I hope I'm wrong. And I have to be nonpartisan, so I'm saying this very carefully. But I think we're going to see images of like the president in handcuffs, or the president in a perp walk, or the president behind bars, or some kind of highly iconic image. And I think that the goal is to provoke, and we're going to get, and I'm seeing it already, a lot of like social media, like whipping people's emotions up, instigators, infiltrators, and violence. And that will be a justification for a crackdown, state of emergency. You can't vote in person. You have to vote by mail. And then, of course, we know the vulnerabilities with that.
Yeah,